it's never a bad choice to have all the buttons done up. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 53 of What's on the Bench Weekly. And if you're not familiar with this show, it's where I take you through projects I'm working on, things that haven't been completed yet, some things a work in progress, and there's always a few DIY tips and tricks that I can give you. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. And let's get right to it. First thing on the bench today is nothing. There's nothing on the bench. Let's change that. Big old American truck. Right there, Ford F-150 Raptor R. This is the new Traxxas Raptor R, and there are a few things that make this different from a regular Slash, but it's all new to me because I've never owned a Slash, ever. In the history of my RC journey, I've never owned one of these, so this is the first one, and I'm really excited to take it out. A little bit different this time around, though. It's not going to be a typical review and then run video. It's pretty much going to be all run video, because what we're going to do is torture test these things. I've heard the Slash is very, very tough, so we're going to test the limits of that claim and see how far we get with it without breaking stuff. I've got 6 5,000 milliamp hour 3S packs all charged and ready to go. We're going to see if we can get through all of them without breaking anything. I think it'll be kind of fun. A couple of things I can tell you about it right off the bat. Definitely a much more scale version of the Slash. Also an extended wheelbase, so it's a much longer truck overall, which helps in the proportions. The width and the length actually kind of work quite well together now. It still obviously is built for performance, but it does have a lot more scale details. Plastic inserts in the grille and on the hood, on the bumpers, rear view mirrors, things you never would have seen on a Slash before. Even on the rear, plastic inserts there and a nice big plastic bumper as well. I think it looks fantastic. I cannot wait to see how it performs. And it's really awesome to have a Slash now. So thank you, Traxxas, for sending this my way. The video will feature a ton of running footage, and hopefully some of it shot by our good friend K-Pop RC. So definitely watch for that. That'll be coming soon. Okay, on to the next thing. Some additional changes have been made to the Mullet full party chassis from Brazen Scale RC. And here it is, right here. Probably not many changes that you could see right away, but some very big ones, or actually quite small ones. Now we're going with a smaller revolver. Get this link out of the way. Now we're going with the much more narrow revolver motor. This is the V3 snub nose, 2040 kV. Perfect motor for this setup because it clears everything. Now nothing is in the way. And in fact, one of the things that was in the way is now missing. You'll notice that there are no more upper link mounts on that Curry axle. I sawed them right off. It's aluminum, so they come off quite easily. But that offers a lot more clearance now between the pumpkin and the actual motor. So now we've got some actual flexibility built into this chassis, and it won't interfere with the motor as badly. If I were honest with myself, what I'd love to have is an offset front diff. Put the diff over here a little bit more, and that would clear the motor even better. But for now, this is a perfectly acceptable setup for what I'll be using it for, and I cannot wait to try it out. I'm really excited about this one. It's just the thought of Class 2 comp chassis mixed with leaf springs that really just gets my motor running. And yeah, it's coming together very nicely and a lot quicker than I was anticipating. So we're gonna have to start getting on some body work ASAP. This is gonna be a fun one. And while it is just a regular old Hilux, I am going to put my own personal spin on it. And I hope you'll stick around for that, because that's gonna be fun. Looking forward to it. All right, on to the next thing. Probably the most interesting thing of this week. You'd hardly be able to believe that this started as a UTB18, but here is Shippy 2, I guess we're gonna call it for now. Richard suggested I call it Skippy, so I think we're gonna go with that. We'll change up the numbers, change up some of the lettering, but it will remain a Shippy in all of our hearts. But this was a UTB18, as short as a week ago, there's been a lot of substantial changes, and I teased them out earlier this week in a reel on Instagram showing this new bugger chassis from Spare Time Hobbies. Let me take the body off so we can get a better look at what's going on under there, and then we'll show you some surprises in a minute. As you can see, there is the transmission from a UTB18 right there. I had already updated all the electronics on this. I'll put a link to that video right up here so you can see that happening. Well, all the electronics minus the servo, because it's actually a pretty decent servo for ready to run. But you can see we've got the axles and the transmission and the axle mounted servo, and then everything else is basically the bugger chassis. You get the aluminum frame rails. You get all of the printed parts. Now you can choose to either buy those printed parts already printed, or you can buy the files, and they discount the price of the printed parts, and then you can print them at home, which is what I did on the Bamboo X1 Carbon, which has been just a fantastic printer. I cannot recommend it enough. And in fact, if you're interested in picking one up, links are down below. Now, what this essentially is doing is creating a Class 1 legal UTB18. It converts the whole buggy into a much more usable chassis. Now, it is very narrow and very small, but I think it could work. And I think this could be a lot of fun. Along with all the printed parts you see here, the inner fenders, the sliders, the bumper mounts, the electronics or battery tray, and then there's another electronics mount in the back here, which I am using for my ESC and receiver. It also includes the center skid, which allows you to attach your stock UTB18 transmission. There is a portion on the back here which sort of blocks off looking inside underneath the body, and there goes the, where is it? And that's where this really nice printed motor goes. Now that, tell me that isn't cool. That looks so great. They did a really nice job modeling all these files. Everything goes together really well. And believe it or not, they actually include an instruction manual, an actual manual that will help you put this together. Follow it, it's excellent. What they do not include is the hardware. You will need to supply your own hardware, M3 throughout, so not a big deal there. Now, originally, where this motor goes here, I had gotten FacFox to 3D print in metal this rear bumper guard, and it fits absolutely perfectly. However, it is so heavy that it pulls the whole chassis down. I can't use it, it's too heavy. So I'll have to repurpose this, find another use for it. And in the meantime, there's a 3D printed one that goes on there just like so. So that'll all be completed in the next little while. I am going to paint and detail that motor so it's got the same kind of Shippy vibes that the original has. And then this chassis is basically ready to go. You can just plop the body straight on it. Make a couple of mounting holes and Bob's your uncle. Good to go. You've got yourself a very cute, very capable little Beetle. But that's not all. I decided to take it one step further, and I started printing out James's Night Customs animated driver for the Hoonicorn. And this thing is really awesome. I printed this out again on the Bamboo, but as you can see, there's a driver, there's a steering wheel, there is a handbrake, and it just looks awesome. Let me get the dashboard out of the way, which also looks pretty darn good if I'm honest. But as you can see, every element of this is animated. The steering wheel turns, the handbrake works. What else? The head of the driver, which hasn't been attached, the head of the driver turns. So you can wire this all into your existing setup with a couple of Y harnesses. I'm running these micro servos to power everything, and you're gonna have a fully animated interior with a driver. Like, the hands are going to turn. So awesome. I absolutely love that. It looks so cool. And the handbrake moves. Let me see if I can articulate that for you too. So awesome. This whole setup is available on Night Customs' My Mini Factory page, so you can print out everything at home. You could probably also get it on his Shapeways store, but it would be cost prohibitive. Just so many parts here that need to be printed out, and it would not be cheap on an SLS nylon printer through them. So I would highly recommend getting a 3D printer or finding a friend that has one and using it, because this is going to be amazing. I know that a handbrake of that size probably isn't useful in this kind of vehicle, but I just couldn't help myself. I had to do it. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Everything went together really well. Again, there is a manual included that will help guide you through all the steps. One of the things I did wrong, it is possible, it's been known to happen. I chose micro servos that are just tiny bits too small, and they don't actually extend the full length that's required. I would get the ones that James recommends in his instructions. It will be a much easier go of things for you. But yeah, I cannot wait to get this to fit into here. The only trimming I'll need to do is on the back corners here of the interior, and everything should fit perfectly well. So there you go. Pretty exciting update, and I'm really excited about that interior. I think it's going to be awesome. Once everything's wired up, I'll do a little test and you can see how it all works. So there you go, fun little update on a fun little project. I'm really excited about having some animated elements in the interior, and James did a really great job with this. It's pretty easy to put together and very easy to print. All of his hard work has paid off, and the fact that it was built for the Unicorn but still fits pretty well in this Beetle and probably other cars, I think is a real winner. So I definitely suggest you check out that interior. I think it could be a game changer for a lot of us. All right, so there you go. That's gonna do it, I think, for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. It's always a pleasure to share all the fun stuff that I'm doing, and I cannot wait to start painting another Shippy. It's gonna be a nice, fun little project. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next week.